Welcome to Germany vs. USA, and today we're going to talk about Hitler.
We know it's a very delicate topic, and we've been debating if we want to make this a Germany vs. USA episode, but we really think we should, because it is an integral part of the German and American culture, even today.
Yeah, instead of getting really academic on it, we're not the people for that. If you really want to get real down in the gritty of it, I would say, read a book, go to school, learn a bit more.
Right.
We're just going to talk more about the broad, cultural impacts of being a German, being an American, and dealing with that man named Hitler and
Exactly.
where he is.
And just approaching the entire thing, because it was interesting. We posted, we asked you guys on Facebook what do you think? Should we do a Hitler episode or not? And the responses were some people said, no, don't do it. You can't do a Hitler episode. You're not experts on the topic. And I mean, as Jim said, we're not making historical. It's not about a history. It's just about his perception today, right?
Yeah, he kind of lingers around a little bit still.
Right, and actually one guy commented, I'm a little disappointed to see all the people here being so against discussing the topic. I think it would be very interesting. This goes to the heart of the false conflicts that many people have in their heads. And I think that's very true. So let's talk a little bit about how Hitler is viewed in, how Americans think of Hitler in Germany and what kind of role he plays or played in Germany today.
I think with that, especially being a kid, in our era, growing up, you saw a lot about Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
A lot on the History Channel, American war movies, just anything you could kind of think of. It was a very popular subject, World War II in general,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's really honed in on Hitler and then, the war in the Pacific. As you get older, there's a lot of satire, a lot of comedic Hitler jokes. You'll see shows, say, kind of make, jokes and light. But overall, we're aware of it. And I think when a lot of times I'm generalizing some, but I think when you think of Germany, a lot of Americans, Hitler or whatever. I think it's hard to kind of go back on that because I've been over there so much. I've seen everything. I don't immediately think of the Nazis or Hitler when I'm in Germany. That's not something that I don't really think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of it and.
But for someone who has not been exposed to the German culture as much as you have, that might be one of the first things that comes to mind when they hear Germany, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think so. It was such a huge impact. I mean, everything it had,
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely, and because of how present it is in our culture and our media with different things being documented.
Mm-hmm. Many Germans, and that was one of the questions asked in the comments on Facebook. How much or to what extent do you hold Germans responsible for what happened in World War II?
Well, I personally, I think that World War II was an awful experience for everybody. But when I think of Germany, I don't think
modern day Germany.
Yeah, I think of modern day Germany as a country that had a really rough spell, paid a great price for it, and kind of rebuilt and did a really good job of basically being we were wrong and building up from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't associate it like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to generalize for other Americans, but I got interested in Germany because I had such a wonderful experience in it, going there for the first time when I was still a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the point where I kept going back. I went to school, learned a lot more about Germany and the German history, and kind of just a lot more than what I'd even known as a child. So to me, just going over there, it kind of washed away anything that maybe I had preconceived when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
When studying in school in the U.S., I mean, we spend a lot of time on World War II. At least where I went, we spent a lot of time on the war, and you always hear kind of rumors, and this is kind of a rhetorical question because I already know the answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you'll hear it be well, Germans, they don't even acknowledge World War II, and I know the answer to that. But
right. And I can talk from my point of view and what I've done, what I've done in school and what I've learned. we do acknowledge World War
Right.
II. We
Very
do
much
acknowledge what
so.
happened in World War II. It's a very, very present. I mean, walking around any city in Germany, you will see, you know, like, you go to Berlin, I mean, there's so many monuments that were built, like, basically in memory of World War II and the victims. And so, and in my class, I mean, if I think about my history class, probably a third to half the time was something around World War II. We spent just a lot of time on World War II, and you know how World War One, how it led to World War II, what happened afterwards, and because it had, you know, it has such a huge impact on German history in the last, you know, 100 years almost. Um, that yeah, it's a very, very present topic. I mean, I've been to like 5 or 6 concentration camps, and you know, it's Germans are very, very quiet, and I guess what's the right term? Like sincere. Um, when you know World War II, what happened in World War II is the topic. You know, you if you wanna shut a German down, just talk about Hitler, German, World War II. Usually they'll get quiet very fast because, and that's me. You know, that's me personally. But I still feel a certain responsibility, you know, about what happened back then. I mean, more it's more about basically keeping that in mind and making sure, you know, something like that will never happen again. I don't hold myself like personally responsible for what happened back then because, you know, I was not born in nothing. But I think it's important to keep that in mind and having an, I guess, yeah, having an awareness of all what happened back then, I guess.
Yeah, every discussion I've ever had with a German when that topic has come up, it's kind of like exactly what you're saying. I've never, you know, it's not, you know, I don't know. I just think it's a shame. It's the past, but it's also very sincere. Like in the sense of like, yeah, that was terrible. You know, let's move forward.
In popular culture, like in today's media, basically, you will see a lot more Hitler, World War II references, Nazi references in the American media than you will probably see in the German media, right?
Yeah. Oh, you'll see. You know, satire, a lot of satire. I mean, famous comedians in the U.S., in Great Britain, you know, just even like TV shows. So they'll have like Nazi things, and
Right.
it's become like a parody. And I'm not making light of the topic, but you'll see it's a lot in pop culture where it's kind of making fun of Nazis or making fun of Hitler, or you know, it's kind of like that. And
Right.
where I think everyone handles things differently, I think that was it's probably very offensive to some people. But at the same time, moving forward, you know, it's just you see it, and I don't think there's that outrage. You know, like it's just like, oh,
Right.
you know.
Whereas in Germany, it's actually interesting because I have the feeling in the last 10, 15 years, there's been done a lot more satire, a lot more comedy about, you know, World War II, especially about Hitler himself. I mean, there's a show called Stromberg, like a German sitcom, basically a little bit like the American The Office. And so what another TV show called Switch, they parody like German TV shows, German movies and stuff, and they made a parody from Stromberg, which is an insurance company dude, and basically they replaced him with Hitler. And so they called the show Obersalzberg, which is in German it's a place in the very south east of Germany, right at the border to Austria, where Hitler has his like vacational spot, I guess. It's a touristy place for Americans today.
Yeah, the Eagle's Nest.
The Eagle's Nest. Yeah. Many American and British tourists go there. Very few Germans actually go to that place and are aware that there's this Eagle's Nest where Hitler had his like vacation house or something. But anyway, so in that show, Obersalzberg, you know, you can see swastikas actually, which you barely ever see on German television.
Yeah, I was shocked when we actually watched the clip, and I was shocked by that because I didn't think you could even see that. Like,
yes, I think if you do it within parody, within satire, you can do that, I guess. And I mean, the main character, I mean, his name is Hitler. They call him Hitler, and the things he says is just for German popular media, for German public, that's very, very, I guess, unusual. So Hitler is like, he's portrayed as a satirical character, basically, and you will find that every once in a while. I mean, if you think about the movies that came out in the last decade, I guess, Der Untergang, The Downfall.
Yeah, The Downfall.
It's not a parody. I mean, it's just like
It's a very serious movie, but if you get on YouTube, you'll find parodies like where Hitler's pissed off because his pizza's late.
Right,
or-
there's like one scene where he gets really angry because the Russians are like almost in Berlin, and people actually put different subtitles on that on YouTube. And I find it a little funny, I must say. But many Germans are really like, oh no, anything related to topic Hitler, World War II, don't make fun of it. And I can understand that, of course. But I guess the trend is you can be more, I guess, funny and open about the entire topic, World War II, Hitler.
Like we said, just a little on Hitler. We're not getting academic or really going into it, a lot, just a broad approach. He is out there. If you go to Germany, be very respectful. There's a lot of good museums, a lot of information out there. If you are interested in that aspect of their history, I also encourage you, there's a lot more history too, before and after.
Exactly. And if you go to the United States as a German, it's very likely that just be aware that you'll probably be confronted with that. And yeah, that's it for today.
Y'all take it easy.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Comment. Leave comments. Nice ones.
Back it up.